Welcome back to LBG Reviews. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Today we'll be talking about Moonstone Island, a game that is like a cross between Pokemon meets Stardew Valley meets a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or other card games, mixed with a bit of just like general life simulator type gameplay. So, Moonstone Island sees you playing as an unnamed, non-binary character who is tasked with going out away from home for a year to become an alchemist, or to prove themselves that they are, or an alchemist, like it's basically like the alchemist final exam, or like the final tradition to truly earn the title. So the tutorial sees you doing tasks for your dad, like picking crops out of the field, planting new seeds, watering the seeds, learning about how to heal your spirits, which those are what the creatures of this game are called, getting your starter spirit, which there are 3 of them, as with a lot of monster collector games, and then learning the basics of combat, and then the tutorial ends, and then from there you end up on Moonstone Island, where an island of villagers has a wide variety of tasks and quests for you to complete, usually resulting in acquiring a blueprint or some money. Now, whereas I said that the characters of Fae Farm were bland, uninspiring, and like it felt repetitive to talk to them, the characters in Moonstone Island at least have more personality to them. Like, they'll make remarks about what day of the week it is, they'll make remarks about the weather, about different characters and other things like that. Whereas, as in Fae Farm, it all felt fairly generic. Now, that's not to say though that Moonstone Island is without flaw. So, as I'd mentioned, the game is like a mix between Stardew Valley, Pokemon, and a card collecting game, right? The Pokemon aspects are really fun, they're really cute, like the starter spirits that you get, right? You can choose between Sheep, a fire sheep, Ankylo, an earth dinosaur, or Capacabee, an electric bee spirit. So how does battling work in this? If it's a creature collector, like a lot of these games usually have a form of combat in relation to the creatures, right? Yes, this game does have that, but the way that it's done is through a card-based battling system where each of your spirits that you have in battle will have a separate deck of cards that all get combined into one, and then that deck gets shuffled battle to battle. So like, I might have a really nice card in Ankylo's deck, but I'm getting a lot of, let's say, Punchy Pot cards, or I'm getting a lot of Fishbow cards, or other spirits. There's a lot of randomness to how battles will play out, because it's like, no, I don't need these cards, I'm trying to do something else, because like I've set up a status effect, or just in general, like I'm aware of the enemy's weaknesses, so I'm trying to use them to my advantage, and like the cards just don't play out right. Now, you can modify your spirit's deck. Whenever they level up, you can choose between 3 cards to add to their deck. However, there are also these archways dotted throughout the world that have 3 special cards on them. Or, I guess they're not really cards, but I'm not sure what else to call them. I guess the game calls them like tokens, I think. Where like, there are 3 of them. There's one that allows you to remove a card from your spirit's deck. There's one that allows you to upgrade an existing card in your spirit's deck. And there's another that allows you to add an additional card to the deck. These archways refresh every season, and a season lasts 28 days. However, when I was first playing the game, I didn't have a calendar, so I didn't realize that the seasons were 28 days, and on the 16th of spring, you receive a letter from your mom saying that the season is almost over. And so I naively assumed, okay, so a season's like 18 days then? But no, there were still a few weeks left in the season, and I didn't find that out till I crafted it. So another thing that the game does differently to a lot of games similar to it is that the game takes place on floating islands that are randomly generated every time that you start a new save file. But there's one rare resource that is on every single island: moonstones. There's only one moonstone per island, and at this point I'm not sure if they come back at the start of a new season, but so far from what I can tell they don't, and so you have to explore island to island, finding more and more moonstones, and it kind of forces you to explore the world's map. And that actually leads me into the next point. The game has 30 dungeons. Dungeons are randomly generated challenges filled with enemies relevant to whatever biome island you're on, and then also has a few puzzles, as well as a boss fight against a dungeon guardian before a Ardo tree, which is a magical important tree that allows you to upgrade your stamina permanently, and then an exit. And every dungeon will tell you how many chests it has inside, and you can go find and loot all of the chests, and then you can even take the chests out of the dungeon and place them in your house or around your base of operations for storage. But unlike Pokemon, where you have the PC box, you can't catch other spirits until you've built a spirit barn. You are limited to 3 spirits until you gain access to that spirit barn. Then after that, you have access to an additional 45 slots, but your barn can also be upgraded to eventually hold a maximum of 90 spirits. At the start of the game, you can only navigate between floating islands with a balloon. The balloon, you can barely change your direction, and as you use the balloon, your stamina will drain second by second. But then eventually you're able to craft a flying broom that allows you to, well, yes, you'll use a lot of stamina while you're charging it. It allows you to maneuver throughout the Sky Islands a lot faster. And then the different plants that are also in Moonstone Island vary from biome to biome, season to season, and they provide different stats for you and your spirits. Some plants are better to eat for regaining your stamina. Some plants are better for taming different spirits. Some are better for giving your spirits different benefits before battle or during battle. Other plants are better to weaken your enemies. And then eventually you can make potions and concoctions that apply or amplify these stats. The game is extremely in-depth with all of the mechanics at work, and I'm only scratching the surface of what Moonstone Island has to offer. Now, what does it offer in terms of accessibility features, though? Not much. To be fair, though, I don't think it needs that much. A lot of what you need to do in the game is extremely well telegraphed and makes a lot of sense. I've played the game on Steam Deck, but mostly I play on PC, and part of why I decided to stick to PC rather than playing on Steam Deck is because Moonstone Island doesn't have full D-pad support. See, a lot of games like this, the D-pad would allow you to move without having to use the control stick, or it would have other that you could benefit from. The only thing that the D-pad does in Moonstone Island, it changes what direction you're looking, nothing else. That's nice for watering crops, because I can't tell you the amount of times that I've basically been I'm trying to click on this crop over here, but I keep watering the crop right in front of me, and so I've gotten used to having to turn my character to water stuff up until I crafted sprinklers. But yeah, that's Moonstone Island though. Hope you guys enjoyed.
LBG from the editing room popping in, because I realized I never mentioned what game we will be discussing next. Next week, we will be discussing Paleo Pines. A fun game about befriending dinosaurs and having them help you on a farm. The game has a good selection of accessibility features, as well as a content creator media kit, so that'll make my job easier.